Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I was not expecting to put this video together, but with Valentine's Day coming, we decided to throw together a fun little Valentine's Day recipe. We have made this the last 2 years and we finally decided to film it for you guys. They're super fun. They're a little putsy, but they're worth it because they're super cute. They are kind of like I think they're the Pillsbury cutouts, like the sugar cookies that you see around a lot for a lot of the holidays. And so these are just a version of that you can make at home in your own kitchen where you get to control the ingredients. And so we're gonna share this fun little recipe for you guys. The full recipe will be in the description under the video because I was not super great about telling you guys ingredient levels and stuff like that as I was going. Sometimes we just get in the groove. And we'd like to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. So we're going to start off by measuring out our butter and our sugar. We decided to do a double recipe this year because we have loved it in the past. And you are going to whip that together until you start to see that butter change colors. It will change from kind of that yellowish color to almost a white, and it'll be super soft and super fluffy. And then from there, we're going to add our vanilla and our eggs. You want to crack that one?
No, I think it will break. What? It will break.
Ooh. Ooh. I'm almost having a hard time.
That is...
Ooh, mix eggs one at a time, just until combined. Okay. And then the recipe says to mix your eggs in one at a time, just until combined. I probably had my mixer a little high for just until combined, but it works. And then about halfway through, I scrape down the sides of my bowl just to make sure that we get everything incorporated really well. And next is baking powder and our salt. We're gonna dump that in and we're gonna get that all mixed together. And then from there, we're gonna start adding in our flour. And we add in our flour in little amounts at a time. So you'll see us dump some in and we'll let our mixer catch up. And then we'll dump some more in and we'll let our mixer catch up. And then once it starts getting really thick, because this is basically a sugar cookie recipe, we will actually turn our mixer speed down to stir so that we don't upset it. And we'll mix that until everything's good and combined. And then we're gonna start to separate our dough. This recipe calls for you separating the dough because we're gonna dye half or about a third of it a pretty pink or red. A pretty pink or red for Valentine's Day. And then we are gonna, I just wrap mine up into some plastic wrap and I stick it in the fridge so it can chill for a little bit. And then from there we'll address the other part of our dough. I should be using food dye that's healthier for us, but still I've got.
Red 3.
I have no idea, it doesn't say, so we're just going to squirt some in there and call it a day. 80-20, right? 80-20. 80% healthy, 20% you can't help. Alright, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to throw this in the fridge chill, and we'll come back when it'll be easier to roll out. Alright guys, so this year I kind of learned that if I leave it a little thicker, it's a little less putsy. You'll hear me refer to this recipe as putsy a lot because you have to roll out your dough and cut out the hearts and get the hearts lined up and get them to stick together real nice. So, learn from my mistakes. If you leave it a little thicker, it'll save you some time. I think last time we had...
It does taste good.
Yeah, I think last time we had to use a little water and kind of baste them together. If I remember right.
Baste together.
Yeah. So you're going to keep cutting out all your little hearts and stacking them up together real nice. If they don't stick together real good, you can add some water in between the layers, especially because we did use some flour to get this to roll out real nice. And from there, we're going to put these in the freezer until they are frozen solid. So it seems to be that the easiest way has been to kind of make it just as wide as, I had issues with this last year. And then taking just enough and kind of pushing these in here. The pink part is frozen.
Good.
So push that into the top portion. And then trying to roll it. I have been having some of that dough crack, and then I was just kind of piecing it back together, so that'll do. See, like here again, I'm kind of cracked, and that's okay. Don't worry guys, I'm not cutting into my counter, I'm just kind of... There we go. All right, we're on to our last dough roll. I made them shorter this year. Last year, I made them, the recipe says to make them like 8 to 10 inches long. And I think it was just too much for me to work with at a time. So I made them shorter this year. And it seems to be working a little better. So this is just another quick little video or quick little excerpt of how we assemble these. And it's, once you kind of get into the groove, it's super easy. It is not as difficult as it looks. Promise. So again, that's just like the heart portion of the roll, the top portion of the heart. And I just really kind of push that in there because last year I had issues with when I would roll it, it never quite got far enough into the heart divide. So that's been my remedy this year. I feel like this isn't going to be long enough. Again, maybe. It just might make it. We just made it. Awesome. And you can see where, like I said, it was cracking. And again, I'm not worried about these being super perfect. Our family and friends are going to think they're super fun. I've just been kind of piecing it back together, even if I have to trim elsewhere. But hopefully, it seems to be working better this way than it did last year. So hopefully they hold together a little better. And then once you've got everything all rolled, it is time to put them into the freezer, and you're going to let those freeze solid so that we can cut them without wrecking our heart shape. All right guys, and then so the next day or overnight or a couple hours later, however your time frame works for you, we're going to take our frozen logs of cookie dough out, and we are going to take a sharp knife and we are going to cut them. The recipe didn't really specify how thick to cut them, and I couldn't remember what I had done the year before, and so my first couple of cuts I think were a little thick, but maybe you can cut them as thick as you would like to, as thick as your little heart desires. And then from there, we're going to shove these into the oven. We're going to shove these into the oven. The recipe said for about 12 minutes. That's okay if they're a little on the thicker side. It seemed the ones that I had cut a little thinner, that was a little too long. And so I ended up doing somewhere between 10 and 12-ish minutes, or until just the outside starts to turn just a little golden brown. Apparently I don't know how to make them all the same size. So I definitely think they were trying to fall apart, but it's okay. They'll turn out just fine. Alright, let's get these in the oven. And we'll keep cutting the rest of these up before they thaw. They're not perfectly round, but they're cute. They're a little putsy, but they're fun. Everybody thinks they're from the store too, so we'll see how they turn out. Some of those in there are thinner, some of those in there are a little thicker. All right, guys, so as you can see, these turned out just great. I did go back and find the recipe, and the recipe actually did say to cut them 1/4 inch thick. So I was wrong. The recipe does say how thick to cut them. I just overlooked it. And so while these were baking, we took the liberty of cutting up all the rest of our logs while they were still frozen. Simple as that. It is a little putsy. These are still pretty warm, just came out of the oven. But as you can see, they're super cute. All the friends and family that we've ever given them to for Valentine's Day love them. Also think they're super fun. So we hope you guys give this a try. Again, the recipe is in the description below the video. And thanks so much for joining us in the kitchen today. We look forward to seeing you next time.